Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today. It's a deep dive into something that might surprise you.
Oh.
Yeah, common money traps that crossdressers can fall into.
Hmm.
Now, before you think, this isn't for me, and click away,
Right.
hear me out. We're using this article by Jenn der Bentson,
Okay.
and her advice is all about smart purchasing decisions,
I see.
which I think we can all relate to.
Yeah, absolutely. And what makes Jen's perspective so valuable is that it comes from experience. She's been there, made the mistakes, learned some hard lessons.
Exactly. It's kind of a don't do what I did.
Yeah.
So she starts off by warning us about impulse clothing purchases, especially online.
Online shopping, yeah.
I mean, we've all seen those amazing outfits on models.
Oh, yeah.
And we just get that instant add to cart urge.
Oh, for sure. But Jenn highlights the problem is that we often end up disappointed because, let's face it,
Yeah.
we don't all look like the models.
Right.
And those clothes, they just might not translate so well in real life.
So true. Like that moment when you try it on at home and it's just not the same.
Hmm.
So instead of filling our closets with all these impulse buys,
Yeah.
what's the better approach?
Well, Jenn stresses building a versatile wardrobe
Okay.
with quality pieces that fit well
Got it.
and match your personal style. Not just whatever's trendy at the moment.
I see.
Think classic items that you can mix and match.
Right.
Clothes that make you feel confident and comfortable.
That makes sense. Instead of chasing these fleeting trends, we should focus on building a wardrobe that reflects who we are.
Exactly.
So investing in pieces that we'll actually wear and love,
Yes.
and not just accumulating a ton of stuff that later we regret.
Exactly. And this applies to everyone, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
not just cross-dressers.
Exactly.
It's about making thoughtful choices and avoiding those impulse buys that we often regret.
Okay, next up, Jenn tackles those overpriced brand name accessories. I get it. We all love a little luxury now and then, but
Sure.
she actually found that. Well, let's just say she learned the hard way that big name brands aren't always worth the cost,
Oh, no?
especially for items you don't wear very often.
Interesting.
So what happened there?
Well, she realized that for those who don't go out in public a lot,
Right.
shelling out for a pricey designer bag or shoes might not be the wisest move.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the allure of those big names.
Sure.
But sometimes a lesser-known brand
Okay.
or even a vintage find
Oh, yeah.
can be just as stylish and a lot more affordable.
That's a great point. It's about being smart with your money and prioritizing what's truly important to you.
Exactly.
So not about denying ourselves nice things,
Right.
but rather making sure those purchases align with your lifestyle and your budget.
Exactly. Think about it. Is that expensive item really going to bring you joy if it's just sitting in your closet most of the time? Maybe that money could be better spent on something you'll actually use and enjoy more frequently.
All right, this next one hits close to home. Jenn talks about excessive makeup and beauty products.
Okay.
You know, I'm raising my hand here because I am so guilty of this.
Really?
But Jenn made me realize maybe we don't need all those fancy palettes
Right?
and all the latest releases.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Is it more about mastering techniques with just a few key items?
I think she's spot on.
Okay.
It's so easy to get swept up in the marketing and all the must-have products.
Oh, yeah.
But a well-curated makeup collection.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be huge.
Mm.
Jenn emphasizes learning different makeup techniques
Okay.
so you can create multiple looks with just a few essential products.
So instead of constantly buying new things,
Right.
we should focus on learning how to use what we already have.
Exactly.
That's actually really empowering, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's about developing your skills,
Yeah.
becoming more confident in your ability to create different looks.
Okay, let's talk wigs.
All right.
Now, I
Got it.
totally get the appeal of having multiple wigs for different looks. But Jenn raises an interesting point
Okay.
about duplicate wig purchases.
Hmm.
She's basically saying, do you really need 5 blonde wigs that are all just slightly different shades?
Right. Her argument is that it's smarter to invest in 1 or 2 high-quality wigs
Okay.
instead of a bunch of cheaper ones.
Right.
Those cheaper wigs, they might not look as good or last as long.
So it's another example of quality over quantity.
Yes.
Choosing a few really good items that you love
Uh-huh.
rather than a drawer full of things that you're not totally happy with.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Now, when it comes to breast forms,
Okay.
Jenn has some strong opinions.
All right.
And this is where her personal experience really shines through. She actually advises splurging on this one.
Splurging on breast forms. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Well, Jenn tried those cheaper options early on, and she was really unhappy with them.
Oh, no.
She describes them as feeling cheap.
Oh, wow.
Uncomfortable and not looking natural at all. She even uses the word junk to describe some of them.
Wow, that's rough. So what did she learn from that experience?
She realized that investing in a good quality set of breast forms
Yeah.
can make a huge difference
Okay.
in terms of comfort,
Right.
realism, and durability.
Gotcha.
Those cheaper ones often have plasticky edges.
I see.
They don't weigh or fit right,
Mm.
and they don't adhere well.
Yeah.
Trust me, you don't want to be dealing with those issues.
Definitely not. So for the listener out there who might be new to all this,
Yeah.
what's the best way to find those high-quality breast forms?
Jen specifically recommends doing your research,
Oh,
finding reputable cross-dressing retailers online.
I see.
Those super cheap options you might find on some websites,
Yeah.
they're usually too good to be true.
Right.
It's worth investing in something that'll make you feel confident and comfortable.
Makes a lot of sense. So we've covered clothing accessories, makeup wigs, and breast forms. It's amazing how much practical wisdom we can glean from experiences that might seem niche at first glance.
Absolutely. And Jen's advice really underscores the idea that smart shopping is a skill,
Yeah,
no matter what you're buying or why.
that's true.
But what I find most fascinating is that it's not just about saving money. It's about something much deeper.
Ooh, do tell. What's the deeper message here? So it sounds like Jen's journey wasn't just about learning how to shop smart,
Right.
but also about finding what truly works for her,
Yes.
both practically and emotionally.
Exactly. Remember how Jen was saying she felt so unhappy with those cheaper breast forms?
Yeah.
It wasn't just the physical discomfort, you know.
Right.
It was about how they made her feel,
I see.
that she wasn't presenting her true self.
That's such an important point. We often think about buying things just in terms of practicality,
Yeah.
but there's this whole emotional layer too,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to something as personal as cross-dressing.
Right. Think about it. Have you ever bought something that just made you feel good?
Oh, yeah.
Confident, happy, like you were expressing your true self? It's not just the item itself.
Right.
It's that emotional boost you get from it.
Totally. It's like that saying, the best things in life aren't things. Sometimes the most valuable purchases are the ones that make us feel better about ourselves.
I think that's where Jen's advice gets really interesting.
Yeah.
It's not just about avoiding those common money traps.
Right.
It's about finding what truly brings you joy
Okay.
and aligns with your authentic self.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. But how do we actually do that? How do we figure out what's worth spending money on and what's not?
Well, Jen's experience gives us some clues.
All right.
She had to try different things, you know?
Uh-huh.
Make mistakes and learn from them to figure out what worked for her.
I see.
It's about asking yourself some tough questions.
Okay, like what?
Are you buying things because you genuinely need them and will use them? Or are you being influenced by trends, advertising, or pressure to have certain things?
That's a great question to ask ourselves. I know I've definitely fallen into that trap
Oh, yeah.
of buying something just because it was trendy or because everyone else seemed to have it.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
But what Jen's story highlights, I think,
Yeah.
is the importance of being intentional with our spending.
Okay.
It's about creating a life that reflects who you truly are,
Right.
not who you think you should be.
So it's not just about saving money.
Right.
It's about aligning our spending with our values and our goals.
Exactly.
It's about investing in things that support our personal journey,
Yeah.
whether that's cross-dressing or anything else that brings us joy and fulfillment.
Exactly. And sometimes that means letting go of the need to have it all, to buy into every trend,
Right.
or to chase after an image that doesn't really resonate with who we are.
I love that. It's about being mindful and choosing what truly matters. You know, it's fascinating how these seemingly specific tips about cross-dressing can lead to such profound insights
Right.
about ourselves and our values.
It is, isn't it? And it reminds us that everyone's journey is unique.
Yeah,
What works for one person might not work for another.
for sure.
It's about finding your own path, making informed choices, and creating a style that feels authentic to you.
And Jen's story shows us that it's okay to make mistakes along the way.
Yeah.
We can learn from those experiences and adjust our approach as we go.
Absolutely.
It's all part of the process of self-discovery.
Exactly. It's about embracing the journey,
Yeah.
experimenting to find what truly works for you.
Okay, so we've talked about avoiding impulse buys,
Right.
prioritizing quality over quantity, thinking about the emotional value of our purchases,
Yeah.
and aligning our spending with our authentic selves.
A lot.
There's so much to unpack here. But before we get to Jen's final thoughts, there's one more thing I want to touch on. So we've talked a lot about the practical stuff, but let's get back to something that Jenn emphasizes in her article.
Okay.
She says cross-dressing, it's ultimately a journey of self-expression. It's not just about the clothes or the makeup, right?
Absolutely. It's about exploring different facets of your identity.
Right.
Finding what truly makes you feel comfortable and confident.
I see.
It's about expressing your authentic self, however that looks for you.
And that's where Jen's advice on smart shopping comes in.
Right.
It's not about restricting yourself or following these rigid rules. It's about using those tips to support your own unique journey.
Exactly. It's about making informed choices that empower you
Okay.
to experiment, express yourself freely, and discover what brings you joy.
I like that.
And sometimes that involves making mistakes,
Yeah.
learning from them, adapting along the way.
Which is precisely what Jenn did.
Exactly.
She's so open about sharing her own missteps.
Yeah.
Encouraging others to learn from her experiences. I think that honesty and that vulnerability, it makes her advice so relatable and so impactful.
It's refreshing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Takes the pressure off striving for this unattainable perfection.
Right.
Jenn reminds us that it's okay to try things out,
Yeah.
make mistakes, find what works best for you.
It's a powerful message, I think, in a world that's constantly bombarding us with images of perfection
Yes.
and these unrealistic ideals.
It is.
Jen's advice is a fantastic reminder
Yeah.
that true confidence, it comes from within,
Yeah.
from embracing our individuality and making choices that align with our values.
It's about enjoying the journey, the experimentation,
Yeah.
and the ongoing discovery of who we are.
Yeah.
Sometimes that means letting go of the need to have it all, buying into every trend or chasing an image that doesn't resonate with our true selves.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Jen's insights,
Yeah.
what's that one key takeaway you hope our listener will remember?
I think it's this. Everyone's cross-dressing journey is unique and personal. There's no right or wrong way to do it.
Right.
What truly matters is that you feel comfortable, confident, and true to yourself. And sometimes that involves making smart choices about your spending,
I see.
so you can focus on the things that genuinely bring you joy
Yeah.
and enhance your self-expression.
Beautifully said. And remember, listeners, this isn't just about cross-dressing. It's about applying these principles of mindful consumption to all areas of your life.
Absolutely.
Consider the emotional value of your purchases,
Yes.
their impact on your well-being,
Right.
and whether they align with your authentic self.
And if you find yourself falling into those common spending traps,
Yeah.
don't be too hard on yourself. We've all been there.
Right.
The key is to learn from those experiences and adjust your approach.
Exactly. It's all part of the journey of self-discovery and growth. Embrace the process, explore with confidence, and remember that true style comes from expressing your unique, wonderful self.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was fun.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining.